So what are some tools that people can use in their daily life to be happier?
I think the greatest tool that we can have is begin to recognize what you're feeling. Many times we've been taught that emotions are weak, that there's no point to emotions. But as we begin to recognize what we're feeling, and really taking a moment, sometimes we just got to slow down and stop and say, what am I feeling? And as you begin to recognize what you're feeling and take a moment to sit with it and breathe for 1 minute, just 1 minute, you'll see that emotion release. What you feel is healed. What you love transforms. So that one of the greatest tools we can have for happiness or life is begin to recognize what we're truly feeling. It was like I was working with somebody today, we're actually on a professional level. He works as my accountant, and he got a call. And after he got the call, it was a family member, and he got really agitated inside, and he just started doing what he was doing with me. And I said, stop. I go, didn't you feel all that agitation you just got from that interaction on the phone? He goes, oh yeah. I go, take a moment to clear it. Take a moment to connect into it. He goes, well, how do I do that? And I said, well, welcome it. Feel it. He's like, well, how do I do that? I said, well, you challenge it. You go towards the pain. So you say, bring it on. You bring on the frustration. And then he did it. And he went like this. He went, and just welcomed it or said, come on, frustration. And then, boom, it cleared. And that is how simple it can be. Remembering simple is powerful. And he goes, wow, what I normally do is I just would go and I'd work really hard and just be agitated for the next 2 hours. And so when he realized it was that simple, that he could just check in and go, what am I feeling? Feel it, take a few breaths, and it would move out of him like that. That's a really powerful tool that we have. I think the other tool that is really gets utilized, but not always in the right, not say right way, it's right for whoever, but a powerful way to use it is journaling. And what I see is people will use journaling, but they'll kind of make sentences and they'll make it pretty, and then they'll get kind of bored with it, or they think they're supposed to say what happened in the day. Journaling is so we can bring that compassionate observer within ourselves to whatever we're feeling or thinking in the day. So I tell people to vomit out on the page whatever they're feeling. If they want to do a whole page of shit, that's what you do. And so you know that as you bring out whatever you're feeling on the page, as you observe something, as you love it, it just clears. So you're not writing it all out to fix it or change it or edit it, because that only gets you more of it. You're just bringing it out on the page. I think the other tool that's not utilized as much is forgiveness. And there's other segments that I talk about the power of forgiveness, but forgiveness is a great tool we have for happiness. I think meditation is another tool that we have for happiness. And there's no wrong way to meditate. There's no wrong way. You don't just sit, just get your butt in the seat and breathe. Sit with your spine erect, sit and breathe. That's it. I mean, if you just get your butt in the chair even 5 minutes a day, you'll see healing happen in your life. Committing 5 minutes like brushing your teeth. Meditation can really help to transform your life. So if you begin to pay attention to your emotions, you begin to journal, you did 5 minutes of meditation a day, those 3 tools could really bring a great transformation in your life. And maybe that seems, maybe you're like, well, how long do I have to do that? Commit to doing that for 1 week. You're committing to your self-growth. You're committing to you. You're committing to yourself with a capital S. That is 3 great tools that we have. And there's more. And I'll put that in other segments.
How can people obtain inner peace?
How can we obtain inner peace? This could be answered in the way of the happiness, how can we become happy, but when I think about inner peace, I remember that peace is not passive. And many times I see in my work with people, and I've had close to 10,000 session hours with people. I've been working in the spiritual path professionally for 10 years and raised in healing and as a healer. And one of the greatest truths I've realized within myself, and I'm sure it will become more, is that peace is not passive. And funny story about that is what taught me the most, recently brought me an even greater remembrance, is my dogs. And they initially started to fight and attack each other. And they were so quick, just a tiny little of anger, anxiety, or overwhelmment within me, and they would attack each other. And our animals and our children are amplifiers to what we're really feeling. When I'm working with parents and children, I have seen children that, under 5 years of age, it seems to me, through my work with people, over the 5 years of age, then the child starts to have more their own perceptions and their own sense of identity more. But I've seen when a mom is very fearful about her safety of her child, and she forgets that her worry can be felt by her child, that worry creates allergies. And I have seen personally about 9 times now where the mom releases the worry and the fear about her child. She realizes by worrying about something, she's actually unconsciously wanting it to happen. And as she realizes and she loves that fear, and she sees that peace is powerful, that as she surrenders her child to peace, to love, to the flow, she's not just throwing them to the wind, she's throwing them to the stream of well-being. And she finds that stream of well-being by loving her fear. And as she loves that fear, she practices what I call practical faith. Faith to me is not believing in something that's not there. Faith to me is surrendering control of that thing we think is going to kill us or hurt us if we let go of it. Faith is an internal knowing by loving your fear. Faith is something that you feel inside of you. And not even that, faith could also be called peace, in a way, I guess. I'll have to ponder that one. But back to peace is the greatest thing we can do for inner peace, is to realize that peace is not passive. Now back to my dogs. As I achieved greater peace, boom, they were all right. And I found out that the pack leader energy, or the calm energy that I was bringing, I had found out that there was many parenting groups that, I don't know if you're familiar with the Dog Whisperer and Cesar Millan. There's many parenting groups that use Cesar Millan's book about that calm energy affecting their dogs and affecting the children. And so it was very interesting to me to see that dynamic. So when I saw, and I've seen it in my life, with my own life and with healing work, but when I saw that instantaneous change in my animals from my greater peace, it was like, wow, peace is powerful. And I also saw thoughts within myself as I got into peace, was I surrendering control to something? But it's remembering that as you come into peace, you're actually even more aware of everything that's around you, not less. Peace is not this passive state of like this. Peace is expansive. So you're more aware of your surroundings and everything that's around you. When you're worried about something, you have a hyper-focused energy and you can't get off of it. So by surrendering that worry or that fear, whether it be finances, or it be your children, or it be tomorrow, you're taking your attention off of that, and you're coming into a more expansive view of something. And then that's when the answer of what you need can come in, or it can be remembered. And many times the mind convinces us that if we're going to surrender this thing, we're all of a sudden going to be in a more vulnerable state. It's when you realize you're actually more vulnerable when you're worried about something. You're actually more in a state of being, attacked, or having something bad happening when you're worried. So the greatest thing we can do for inner peace is to see the power, or to accept the power of peace for ourselves and for our life.